Okay. All right. Well, hello. Welcome to the Horror, place we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of the hosts here, or the only one this time around, Utaka. And today I'm excited because I am joined with the guys from Radio Silence. How are you all today?
Super good.
Doing
Doing
well.
great. Yeah, happy to be chatting with you again.
Yeah, same. And we're getting to talk about which just premiered at Overlook, Abigail, your new film. Which I'm just gonna first state that was a fucking ride. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
He didn't say it was a good ride. He just said it.
Oh
No.
no, no, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like when you throw up on the teacups. I got it.
Right.
Yeah, I was just I think when I was speaking with Guy, when I originally saw the trailer, I was like, wait, I'm rooting for Abigail. And then after in the twist, when you see that, I'm like, wait, I think I'm still kind of rooting for Abigail. um because I have to say, the cast was stunning, and Alicia Weir, though, how was that in shooting some of those scenes? Because you guys got really creative with how she takes down people. I'll just say that.
I mean, I think that it was our big anxiety going into the movie because, while we certainly adjusted the specifics of some action sequences and, throughout the process, what was on the page, those like big gear shifts, those moments that were so clearly going to require like a ton of like brutal violence and action and all of those things, for the most part were in the script. And so we had a ton of anxiety about finding a young actor who not only was able to do those things, but was also willing to do them. Right. I think that we knew going in like we were making a hard R movie,
Yeah.
and we were just absolutely floored by how incredibly talented Alicia is and how deftly she handled all of that stuff. I mean, we were saying, after the first take on the first day of shooting with her, the pressure of what we needed to accomplish with her totally evaporated, and we found ourselves like just directing her like we would direct any of the actors, right? Like she just had such a strong grasp on what that crazy role required, and we just can't say enough about how much of a joy it was to watch her work.
Um, I also have to ask too, because how did you guys just luck out on finding the house? That was that was a great set piece.
Isn't it incredible? It's like the coolest house. Yeah, and it's called Glenmaroon. It's out in Dublin where we filmed. And it's one of those, since like our early short film days, we've kind of always leaned into the idea of location as a great way to create mood, to create tone, to add
Mhm.
production value. When we had no money, it was often the first question we asked ourselves was, how are we going to spend this $100 to film this weekend? Oh, we can go to this location. Now let's write a story for that. And I think we brought that with us over the last like 15 years. And so the Glenmaroon has the pool, it has the hallways, it has the everything but the library and the cellar, which
Mhm.
are incredibly designed by our production designer Susie Collin and her team. They all just fit. And again, like those earlier things that we worked on, you walk through the house and instantly just go, now how can we apply the story that already exists to this house and tweak it as needed? It's like just to use the pool as an example. I mean, I think we went through 2 or 3 iterations of what that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea that we can fully exist in this space in real life as the characters are existing in this space in the movie, it adds an element of authenticity, and it
Yeah.
creates an energy on set that is just infectious and really fun. And hopefully that comes through when you see the movie. All those hallways we're walking down are just exactly how we'd walk around to get to set. Like, it's not put together in a magical way. It's all very like big,
Yeah, tons of continuity.
twisty and turny, and a lot of fun to shoot in. Also pretty creepy.
Definitely haunted.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Definitely
it
Definitely
was the
haunted.
location scout was scarier than the actual movie. because in the movie you at least had like people around every corner and you knew they were there.
Safety in
But
numbers.
when you're like location scouting, you're just like, wait, should I go into this next room or not? And it just kept giving. The house just kept giving.
I mean, and I won't go into detail because I don't want to spoil it. The pool scene had me laughing. I loved it. I was like, oh, I was like, they are rotted for doing that. Rotted. But I did. This setting, that's really awesome to know because oh man, I don't know if I'd go in that house. That was creepy. At least
It's
It
honestly
was so inspiring. It
Yeah.
was so inspiring to shoot there. I feel like it's one of those places where we found ourselves like maybe for the first time not worried about there was nothing about the house that created limitations. It was actually the opposite. I think it inspired new, better, more interesting scenes and ideas, which I think is just a result of it being so vast and so bizarre from one hallway to the next.
And something else that I really enjoy about this film is there's a chance where every character gets a moment to shine. And I do want to highlight because Kevin Durand had me rolling. I just want to know what it was like directing him on set because I was cracking up.
I mean, he is like just the most gentle soul I think we've ever met. And I think one of the fun things that we knew was going to be an interesting texture with his character. I don't think that we knew going into the shoot that it was going to be quite as successful and quite as enjoyable a texture is just the feeling of like this massive imposing figure being the one who's sort of the quickest to smile, the quickest to laugh, the quickest to form friendships within the group. And honestly, that's just Kevin. Like he is just the warmest, the most inviting guy. And I think one of the things that was really exciting to us, and this is, very early in our meeting him and talking with him was, we said, dude, we want you to like bring you to this. And so the accent that he speaks in is his native Quebecois accent. And so much I think of the relationship between the two sides of that character, the like enforcer, the big guy, the muscle, and then this kind of soft, gooey center. Though that's just him, I think, really bringing his own personality and experience to who Peter is.
He's much smarter than Peter, though.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his character. And same thing, honestly, like Melissa Barrera, she ate. I'm just gonna say, she really.
Were there any crumbs left?
No, like honestly, again, every character really did. But I really just enjoyed just the way she was styled, but also the way she held herself. Her character was just so much fun because she was a badass.
Such a badass. And I mean, that's Melissa. Like she gets, this is our third movie with her, and every movie I think we've grown and she's grown, and we know more and more like collectively what the character needs, what the movie is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we talked a lot about making sure that it wasn't Scream adjacent. We didn't want Joey to be like Sam Carpenter but slightly different. And Melissa definitely, I think, understood that, took that to heart, and really knocked it out of the park. And in a lot of ways, all the gang, the crew, they're all, I don't mean this in a negative way. It's the fun of the movie. They're all kind of goofballs, right? They're all like,
yeah.
Except for Will, except for Rickles, who's like he's the strong force, and then Melissa's the strong force, and then I don't want to give anything away, but it's like you're kind of like, well, these are the only two people with like heads on their shoulders.
Yes, they were.
And who also don't seem like maybe psychotic, and there was just something really awesome about, like, on a personal level, off camera and watching the movie, and as we were making it, of seeing Melissa kind of grow into this character and take that next step where I think it's impossible to watch her in this and not go, oh, I want to see her in all the movies. Like, I want her to do action. I want her to do like romance. I want her to just like do it all because she's so good in this. And she brings so much to it where it could have been just very straight ahead. She really like, I mean, that character is very alive and very full.
I yes, I do want to see her in action. That would like, oh man, when you did certain scenes, I was just like, oh, this is all. I was not prepared because I was like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, no, I could see this. And actually, I think that's I will reference one of the behind the scenes because I thought it was really great since this is a vampire film. I forgot who posted it, but it was them recreating the famous scene, baseball scene from
Yes,
Twilight.
from Twilight. Yes,
I
that was guy with the movie camera. Yeah,
oh my
so
god.
good.
I just have to know, like, when filming this movie and seeing that, like, what were some of the behind the scenes shenanigans that was just going on? Because that was great.
I mean, it's sort of the beautiful thing I think about the making of this movie is that it was just everything not happening in front of the camera and sometimes happening in front of the camera was just shenanigans. I mean, it was I don't think there was a day where Kathryn wasn't just like kicking it behind the monitors with us, like making us laugh our asses off in the middle of the takes. I mean, it was just a really warm and wonderful experience the entire time. And even when things were difficult and we felt, the sort of pressure of the schedule and the other challenges that we faced on this movie, I think it's just the amount of fun that we had is, I think, unrivaled on a movie. We just had an absolute blast, and everyone, I think everyone really rallied around the making of this movie and brought the best of themselves on and off camera.
I would also like to know how many gallons of blood did you all use in this film?
We have an answer for this, right, Matt? What did Paul say? Paul Byrne?
18,000 liters in the pool alone.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right? 1,800?
Yeah,
18,000?
18,000.
I'm American. I don't have a good sense of liters.
18,000 liters in the pool, and then we estimated another 10,000 overall.
Yeah. So like 25, 30
Yeah.
Oh my
thousand
gosh.
liters.
I mean, I'm a gorehound, and so I loved all of that. Um, so yes, that was a lot of fun. And again, you bring the pool scene up, and I have to just say, whose idea was that? That was again, just
So
who
it was
set that up? That give them an award or something.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
Well, so the pool was originally scripted as they walk in, they saw Abigail sitting in an empty pool with Dean's body, and the dance with Dean
Mm-hmm.
was originally scripted to take place in an empty pool.
Okay.
And we thought, wait a minute, these feel like maybe two separate scenes. Like we should find a way to kind of have the flavor of the dance, but also is that better in a different place? And then how can we utilize this pool to just maximum effect? And I mean, it's very much, I think, drafting off of the goat pit in Ready or Not in some respects, which was, I think,
Whoa.
we were like absolutely stressed to the limit of our schedule and our budget in that set, and it's like the goat pit was like a three wall set built in an existing location that we were shooting another scene in for Ready or Not. And so I think when the opportunity presented itself to fill a full-size swimming pool with dead bodies, we were like, well, yeah, I mean, what else would you do with the pool?
Was it originally? That's where the dancing was set.
Yeah. Dean
One of the earlier
and
drafts.
Abigail's dance was in
Mhm.
the pool in the early draft.
I love that scene. It's just so gross. You know, I have to ask because obviously you guys keep killing it with horror. So, I mean, this, as I said, this was a fun film in general. Like, this is total popcorn flick in terms of like I just had a blast. But you all did, as you said, there were some chilling moments. And now you all are saying the house is haunted, and I fully believe that. I want to know what was, without spoiling anything, what was one of your favorite scenes to film in this film? If it's not a spoiler, right?
No.
I mean, I think the thing that Tyler and I talked about a lot in the past few days was the first scene where you meet the gang being the thing that really like it, because
that
it was
club room, that mansion scene.
Yeah, the game room scene where they, like Joey kind of goes and tells everybody stuff, and I don't want to get too spoilery, but we shot that the first day of the shoot. It was the very first thing we shot.
Mhm.
And so there was a lot of nerves going into it because, again, these characters are all swings, and the stuff the actors are bringing to it are all swings, and you don't ever know if that's going to connect. And then once that scene started, we were like, oh, I love this. I love what they're doing, and I love the interplay, and I love kind of playing against type and the way that they're all treating each other, and they have strong opinions on each other, even though they just met, and the characters just met, but then also in real life, the actors had just met in the last couple weeks. So it was kind of watching the beginning, the genesis of the next few months of our life and our
Mhm.
Yeah.
the movie,
Yeah.
and the genesis of the characters in the movie and where they're going. And there was just something very electric about it. And hopefully, I think that translates.
Yeah, it did. I had to rewatch that scene a couple times. It's good. So you guys premiered at Overlook, and what was that like? Getting to now, were you guys there actually in the theater watching everybody else experience it, or?
Oh yeah. You don't miss those things. You don't miss those moments. The first time you get to share it with a crowd, especially a genre crowd that is there for a festival like Overlook. I think
Mhm.
it was a fantastic environment, fantastic energy, just to get our first taste of what this movie will play like with an audience. And honestly, it was you just want to be there, sitting in the back and like leaning up, and first thoughts are always like, wait, is the sound all right, or maybe I'm just too close to the speaker because I'm in the very back row. Like you go through all the paranoia,
All the
of
anxiety,
making a
yeah.
movie. Yeah, and then you're like, and then you start to hear the crowd reacting and laughing, and then gasping at the right moments, and you're like, oh, this is working, and this is playing well. And honestly, it was a great spot for us to kick things off.
It's a fun festival, and that's really awesome that you guys got to premiere there, because that crowd is wild. I remember one year, I didn't I went there specifically also for like the Black Phone, and the crowd, I did not think it was the type of movie where people would be yelling at the screen, but and I was just, and it was such a blast, and it was crazy because like Mick Garris is like maybe 2 seats from me. I'm like, this is wild. This is amazing. This is a movie
Incredible.
experience. So I could just imagine you guys getting to sit there and enjoy your film.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy city. It's a crazy fan base, and honestly, we had a fantastic experience the entire weekend.
So I would love to know, when this film comes out, what do you hope people take away from this, with this iteration of vampires?
I mean, I think that we set out to make a movie that, like, first and foremost was just a really fucking fun time at the movies and an escape from just the bullshit of everyday life. I think that I think that of course, like, we're hoping that people will watch it a second, a third, a fourth time and like really love and pick up on all of the emotion and the nuance and all of the things that ultimately make the experience so fun. But I think that we designed this movie to just be watched really loud with a crowd, and we are super excited to start seeing people react to the movie once it's out in theaters.
I mean, there's a bunch of screenings I know happening this Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to experiencing it with just the biggest crowd. Because that's always, I think, what's great about a film is when you see also people react and just really embrace it, because I mean, I don't even know how to say, but I just enjoyed this because it's a refreshing take. But I felt like, one, you guys are just vicious to all your actors, so I love that. And the other thing is, it was just a wild ride. There were twists and turns I did not expect, and so kudos to pulling that off.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
and I
hoping it's
think
more than just ballerina vampire.
Oh,
'Cause
Yeah.
absolutely.
We think that's wonderful, but we think there's a lot more.
Well, and I love that the trailer gives none of that away. I think there was a moment where I was just like, I sat back and go, oh, oh shit, I didn't see that. Oh, damn. Okay. All right. We're doing this. It's like,
Thank you
love
for
that.
saying that. That matters so much because I think, we've been asked a lot about like, oh, does the trailer give away too much? And we talk all the time about our favorite like big twist movies. And so many of those movies are rewatchable because the stuff that exists around the twist is so good and interesting and fun to watch. And I think for us, like that was just always the goal. Like, yeah, she's a ballerina vampire, but the movie on both sides of that reveal should hopefully totally hold up and be really fun and entertaining and full of interesting character, outside of and in spite of the twist.
No, absolutely. So I will just say, again, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And I can't wait to rub it in my co-host face that they missed out.
Yeah, rub it in their face for us too.
Because they are up. I know they're upset that they're like, when do we get to see the film? I'm like, I don't know. You guys live over in the UK. That's a whole nother situation. But I have to say, this was so much fun. And I knew when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is gonna be something special. But after seeing it, I was like, oh man, it is something that I'm looking forward to seeing again and again, just because there's always something new that I know that I'll pick up on. And also, I just love to see Alicia just mop the floor with everyone.
Hell
So
yeah.
kudos
Good use of
for
words.
doing that. Like
Yeah, good use of words. Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
so much fun. So again, thank you. And as always, just congrats on getting a film made, and can't wait to see people react. So thank you.
Thank you.
Always great
Thank you
to
so
talk.
much.
Yeah, great to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.